Hello sweeties and welcome to my channel. I'm Ronnie and today we're building a yellow container home. So it all started with a couple of items from the Sims packs that I just wanted to use and kind of play around with them. So the first one is this specific window, which came with the Desert Lux kit if I'm not mistaken. And the other item, and here you see me already using it, is this railing from the City Living expansion pack. It's just right now it's relatively an old pack, and rarely I see people like using this specific railing right now. I mean, like I said, it's an old pack and we got way nicer items, I guess, in the whole history of the game. However, I have to admit that still to this day it's one of my favorite packs. It was my first one, and I think that around that time we already had I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 expansion packs, because I started buying those DLCs much later. I was watching various speed builds and I always thought that the items there were the nicest ones. So till this day I absolutely love this pack. Anyway, so like I said, we have those two items. The railings is something that I quite often use in my builds, but I just wanted to get out of my comfort zone and try something different. And that's why I decided for this very, very bold yellow color. Now I matched it with this Discover University, I hope so. I hope that's Discover University. Discover University wallpaper. Here you see me combining this wallpaper with the wallpaper that we got in Dream Home Decorator. It was matchy in terms of its color, but at the same time I like the more geometrical, let's say, tendency in this particular house. So I thought that it might look kind of modern, kind of unusual, and you know what, I thought that it might be a good idea to try and get out of my comfort zone and try something different and play around with wallpapers that are possibly intended for the interior, and instead apply them on the exterior and see the result. I think this is quite a fun house. So as the title of this video and the house itself on the gallery, this is supposed to be a container house. However, at that point I still did not have the Eco Lifestyle pack, so I didn't have the specific type of container like wallpaper available. And anyway, I wanted to try something a bit different. I am pretty sure I have a container house in a very similar shape, unfinished in my game. I might get to it soon though. Well, when I say soon, for you it's still going to be done in a year, since we have still about, I don't know, 60 videos in making. So anyway, that's not important right now. What I'm doing right now in the video itself, I am of course working on the landscaping. Since the exterior of the house is quite colorful and vibrant in itself, I opted for my favorite pieces of landscaping that are, most of them are basically in the base game, so they're all available if you decide to landscape yourself your own builds. Here you can take it as an inspiration. My inspiration for this type of landscaping is certainly Sunny Simsy, so I thought that I should give her a shout out because I very much enjoy her builds and I very much recommend her videos. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, since I know where the inspiration is coming from and I like her landscaping. So just to be let's say quite transparent about this, I hope you don't mind. But yes, Sunny Simsy and Miss Griffey are, she's Griffey just now, I forgot. So Sunny Simsy and Griffey are my most favorite sim builders, and a lot of the like my own techniques and my own building style is certainly inspired by them. So I think it's important to give them a shout out like this and to be very clear about this. Hopefully I'm trying not to copy any of their builds or anything like that. Of course, that would be just a stupid plagiarism, but the fact that they are very talented simmers and very talented builders is definitely something that basically shaped the way I build in my own game. So that's why I thought that I would say that. Anyway, right now we're finally on the interior, and as you can see, the Dream Home Decorator and the Tiny Living stuff bag came in handy. They were absolutely brilliant for this type of house. It's relatively a small house. As you can see, it's only 97 tiles. So once again, I saw the opportunity to use the Tiny Living stuff bag mechanic, and that's why the roof is actually not like counting any tiles, maybe just the 2, I think, or the 3 that are right above the window. And all the other like part of that roof is just like the ceiling of the room beneath it. So I tried to make it work this way and, like not add any more tiles than necessary. And as you could see, we have quite a lot of like decks on the exterior, so the interior is quite small, and surprisingly it can fit 4 Sims. So there is a main bedroom upstairs, like for the parents, and soon enough we're going to move on to the kids room, a very, very tiny room. However, there's a bunk bed, so we have just enough space to fit 4 Sims. Right now, however, I'm still working on the kitchen / living room. You can see that every now and then certain items pop in the screen that you like haven't seen me placing down. That's simply because I was quite indecisive as I was building this house. So I have to admit that a large portion of this video is heavily edited, simply because I was, like I said, indecisive, but most of the time I kept spinning the camera with like every placement of every object. So just, I placed down, I don't know what, but for instance the couch, and then I kept spinning the camera to see how it looks from different angles. It's something that I do all the time, and I have to admit that the editing process afterwards is incredibly complex because I keep doing it all the time, and I'm trying not to necessarily make the edits seamless because that's near impossible, but I still try to make them look as best as possible. So yeah, that was giving me a bit of a headache. So now you could see me decorating the shelf above the stove and the oven, and I know that I reordered the shelf, like the items that are placed on the shelf, but if I'm not mistaken, you're not going to see it in this video because I kept like twisting and turning around the camera, and it was absolutely annoying to watch it. And I was actually like, I started getting dizzy watching it, and I was editing the video. So believe me, I heard that people like enjoy this type of content where they can see the whole process, which I understand, and I very much try to keep as much of the process as possible. But I feel that sometimes this like crazy like spinning around of the camera is really, really annoying, and yeah, like I said, it can make your head spin quite easily. So hopefully you don't mind that this is kind of like, yeah, see, have you just noticed? Yeah, this like this way and that way, and I don't know why I look like a photographer that's like, and from this angle and that angle. Not really sure why I'm doing it, but yeah, I need to check all the angles when I'm building. So anyway, I should stop like babbling because I feel like I'm doing exactly that. We just finished the kids' room I mentioned earlier. The decoration is not yet done there, so we'll definitely be returning there. However, since it's quite a relatively like small room, I added only a couple of things. Now I'm working on the bathroom. That's just like a half bath if I'm not mistaken, and I am trying to place as many items as possible in this very small space. I'm not entirely sure. I might add the shower head there because the like upstairs bathroom is going to be like an like a bedroom suite or whatever you call it, so it's like adjacent to the main bedroom, so then it probably felt quite weird that like the kids would have to go to that bathroom. So I think I'm going to change the rearrangement relatively soon. But yeah, here you can see me placing only a few items in the kids room, and now we're moving on to the bedroom. The bedroom is quite simple. We're keeping the same color scheme. Like I said, once again, you can see the Dream Home Decorator and the Tiny Living are playing the key roles in this whole house. So I'm trying to make this specific space work because it's relatively narrow and you don't have that much space. Here you can see that the angle, or rather the shape of the like bedroom bathroom is slightly odd. However, of course, everything is play tested. This toilet is functional, don't worry about that. And it made me, it fit nicely with the exterior because I had to make it make sense with the whole exterior, and I was very much happy with the shape that I had of the house, so I didn't want to change anything like based on the interior. So the interior was the one that had to like give away to the exterior, but I still think it works nicely. All corners are somehow filled. Like right now I'm adding this easel to paint for your Sims to paint. Here's also a guitar, so I tried to give them some sort of hobbies. Otherwise, I have to admit that I don't think that I had like a specific Sims in my mind, so that's why all the items are relatively like general and are not like specific to any characteristics of the, or like any traits of the Sims, or to any like jobs that they can have. So like I said, relatively general, but I think it works nicely. So now I'm decorating this like office nook, this desk with a couple of books and of course a computer. Only a couple of items, but I think it looks quite nice. I'm going to move, yes, this plant here, but I think it was in the way when I was playtesting it, or rather the wardrobe was in the way of the Sims to get, on that side of the bed. So I don't think that it's recorded. I usually don't record when I'm playtesting, so that piece of plant is gone in the finished result. So, which brings me to the fact that of course this build will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. My ID there is bohemian_Ronnie. So if you wish to play with this build in your own game, feel free to do so. It will be available there. Now you can see me placing the items on the sink using the 9 keys on the keyboard, which tells you that this is really an old video. I think maybe a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, there was an update that allowed us, or rather that introduced slots on sinks. So clearly this is built in the time when this type of functionality was not available. So now I'm working on the exterior. I think that the interior is done for now, so I'm really just going to add some last finishing touches. I decided, even though it wasn't the initial idea, to include a pool. The area around the pool is relatively simple. Like I said, the house itself is relatively vibrant and dominant in itself, so I didn't mean to overpower that with anything else. So here we have just some like lounge chairs and a small bar. Also going to, I'm adding some plants there, and soon enough, I should use this alien juice. I like the color of it first, but this is a thing that you can find in the debug menu, or maybe in the like show hidden objects part of the catalog. And it's a great thing because, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the few, or maybe actually the only base game drink that like won't go bad. So I kind of like using it in my builds because it's like more interesting, and you know, it adds a relatively nice detail to the whole build without ending up with items that your sim then have to go and just, you know, clean and put into trash. So that's just a little build tip for you if you're also a builder. But here the last moment touches. I felt that I was like missing something on the exterior, so that's why I added this window that I also think came with the Discover University. And I'm now just decorating this little deck that's on the upstairs leading to the main the main bedroom. I'm just like adding these little touches here and there. I try not to overdo it since this is of course on the outside. However, placing those amps there is not the smartest idea. So it depends on whether you own the Seasons pack. In case you do, and of course, in case you want to download this build, feel free to delete them. But right now we're just applying a terrain paint and we're coming to the end of the video. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here on my channel. If you wish to like, comment, subscribe, feel free to do so, and I very much appreciate it and very much thank you for that. And hopefully I will see you in my next video very soon. And the last thing that remains is just to wish you a very lovely day. Enjoy everything you do and have a lot of fun. Bye!